I mean, last year's last year, honestly. Yeah, I'm way more comfortable. And I think it goes back into the spring and then the way that Mike installed plays, something I feel like I've continued to harp on, and just his detail in installing plays, his purpose of calling a play, that our plan's in right now. Just went out there and practiced. Obviously, we'll cross our T's and dot our I's and iron out the rest of it over these next couple of days. But my comfort level is at an all-time high, and I think that comes with what I said about Mike, what you just said about all the receivers, having the weapons that I do, even the young guys, and then obviously just the experience that I've had in this league, just all playing a part in it.
Dak Prescott wearing the NBC Sunday Night Football hat, and for good reason. Cowboys, Giants. The luster is back in the rivalry. They both made the playoffs last year. They both have high expectations this year. The Giants, year 2 of the Brian Daboll regime, maybe better than they were last year. Cowboys, we never quite know what to make of them. There's always this sense that they're trying desperately to restore the glory of years gone by, and they ultimately, when it comes down to it, can't do it. Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore's out. He takes over. He runs the offense. Peter, I just got a lot of questions about this Cowboys offense. McCarthy wasn't calling plays for a reason when they hired him. Now he is. I just want to sit back and see what happens, because I've just got my doubts. Dating back to 1995, the last time they made it to the NFC Championship, they can't deliver. There's hope, there's hype, there's expectations, and they can't deliver. I want to see if they can do it this year.
Yeah, I think it's a valid question, Mike. I think in the rivalry between the two teams, I mean, look, the Giants have got to make it a rivalry. This is a team that's 2-10-1 in the NFC East in the last 2 years. They lost, basically they were 0-3 against the Eagles last year, a fairly embarrassing performance in the playoff game at Philadelphia. So the Giants really, as great as last season and as unexpected as last season was, in a positive sense, they've got to play better in the division, and that has to start Sunday night at home. If you're not going to be impressive when you're at home in the first game of the season, and when you're healthy, when you've got all the guys back who you've wanted to get back, you got Saquon back who's healthy, you got Wan'Dale Robinson, who I still think the Giants believe, Brian Daboll believes, is they're going to be their secret weapon. He's not going to be secret, but I think he's going to be an explosive player potentially. You've got to go out, obviously, in adding Darren Waller, you've got to go out and play inspired and play great in this first game. I think this game is a lot bigger for the Giants than it is for the Cowboys.
I agree with you, because this is the process of proving that last year wasn't just some beginner's luck fluke for Brian Daboll. And we see that from time to time. New coach comes in, takes over a team, wins Coach of the Year, and then he's fired 2 years later, right? The Matt Nagy dynamic. What is Brian Daboll going to do to make this team better? You talked about Darren Waller early in the program. Boy, he's got the potential, and there's just a lot of buzz, and he's a captain already. There's some sense that this is going to be exactly what Daniel Jones needs to begin the process of diversifying the offense. Saquon Barkley has come to terms with everything that happened in the offseason with his contract, and he understands all he can do is focus on playing the best football he can, and everything else will take care of itself. So he's focused, he's motivated, and he was critical to their success last year. The defense could be better. We'll see. And, I know the Cowboys have owned this rivalry lately. They've won 11 of 12 meetings against the Giants, but I just feel like it's worth believing in the Giants. They haven't gotten a lot of preseason attention. And maybe it's because we see every few years a team that just they kind of stumbled with a new coach into the postseason, but we'll believe it if they can do it a second time, and maybe they can. And here's an interesting note. The Cowboys have opened their season on NBC. This is now the 4th straight year, and they've lost 3 in a row. So either way, somebody's reversing a recent trend here. The Giants can't beat the Cowboys can't win starting their season on NBC. Something's got to give on Sunday night unless they tie.
Well, I will just say this, in the something's got to give, and one of the reasons why this is a big game, Darren Waller, the captain, the guy who's come in and blown everybody away. I mean, Darren Waller, has missed 14 games the last 2 years because of injury. So now Sunday night is his time to start showing it's a different time, it's a different year. This isn't Vegas anymore. And I'm going to have an excellent second act of my NFL life.
I just can't help but wonder, and this gets back to something Chris and I talked about yesterday with the Bill Belichick assistants that make their way around the league, and it's a different vibe and it's a different approach. And I don't know that Darren Waller clicked with the new regime. That may have had something to do with it. But we'll see. We'll see. He's in a new place. He's energized. And boy, if he can play the way that they think he will, Giants could be a difference maker. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.